Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare Krishna Vancha Kalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhu Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda ki Jai, Shri Prabhupada ki Jai. Sorry for stopping the wonderful chanting, Prabhuji. So we're just waiting for our speaker to join in. He just said joining, so.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, no problem.
Yes. Hare Krishna. So welcome everybody, and I'm just give me 1 minute. So welcome everybody, and yeah, I was just sharing on the YouTube and other links. So Vajja Kalpatrubhisha Kripa Sindhu Evacha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda ki Jai, Shri Prabhupada ki Jai.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone for joining. So I will just quickly read the quote for today. If you stick to the Krishna consciousness, there is no secrecy, there is no duplicity, there is no diplomacy. This is a quote by Srila Prabhupada. I'll repeat. If you stick to the Krishna consciousness, there is no secrecy, there is no duplicity, there is no diplomacy. Jai Shri Prabhupada. So, may I know who are there on the call today?
Hare Krishna Mataji, this is Surendra Bhandari from Maryland.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Madana Pranam to you. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Anybody else would like to announce the name? So we will just start with the today on Everyday Chant Harinam conference call. I was just posting at the same time, so others can join in the Everyday Chant. But today we're very fortunate to have His Grace Prema Rasa Prabhuji from Mumbai, India, and he's enlightening also on a specific topic of Govardhan, the real Dhan of Vraja. And he will be sharing multiple commentaries of the Acharyas. And he's taking up the verse from Bhagavatam 10.21.18. So Prabhuji, can you take over? Are you there?
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah, Prabhuji.
All right, yeah. Is Sham Rasika Mataji currently in India? Because I don't see her.
Yeah, she's in India. She should be back by 17. And so I don't know whether she's in Mumbai or traveling elsewhere. So she's not able to join. Yes.
And I think every year in Kartik month she goes to India, right?
No, Prabhuji, not every year. Last year she didn't go.
Okay.
Last year I had gone. So it all depends. We correlate with each other. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So yeah, lots of other devotees have also gone, Prabhuji. So we have a little bit attendance is less, but still we continue with our Srimad Bhagavatam book study and topics. So yeah, we're very fortunate to have you on the call. So please take over, Prabhuji.
Yes. Okay. Okay, so I will be recording on my laptop also.
Okay.
I've sent a request if you can just approve that.
Yeah, allow recording. And Prabhuji, I also send you what I'm recording, so that goes to our Facebook. Yeah, Facebook and also the different groups. So, okay, Prabhuji.
Okay. Okay, Hare Krishna. So thank you all the devotees for joining in. I'm very fortunate to be of service on this very extremely auspicious day of the first day of Bhishma Panchak in the month of Kartik, and that too sharing the glories of Govardhan Hill. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to serve everyone. All right. So what I was thinking is that first we'll be covering the verse number 10th canto, 21st chapter and 18th verse. And we'll be reading the purport also as in a Bhagavatam class. And then because it's going to be the commentaries by the Acharyas and because they have commented on almost each and every verse of the 10th canto of Bhagavatam. So what we'll be doing is we'll be going through the translations of the pastime of Govardhan, and we'll be starting from chapter number 24. And let's see, I have prepared for chapter 24, 25th, and 27th because that is the entire pastime of Govardhan. But I'm not sure if I can go ahead for a longer period of time. I'll be able to complete all the 3 chapters in today's session. If devotees can stay a bit longer, then maybe we can finish. But let's see in 1 hour, 1.5 hour, how much, where we reach. So based on that, we can decide later on. But yeah, my desire is that if we can do it today's session, that will be great because it's Kartik month and it's Bhishma Panchak also. So it's all relevant at this time. But let's see how it goes. Okay, so I'm sharing the verse number 10, 21, 18. Okay, so the host has to allow for me to share.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. All right.
Also,
So
Prabhuji, if somebody's unmuted, then you can mute them, since I will not be able to do that, just in case.
okay, sure.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, thank you, Prabhuji.
So are you able to see the screen?
Yes.
All right. So reading from 10:21:18. Antayamatrila haridas varyo yadram krishna charana sparasha pramoda manam tanoti sago ganayostayoryat pani yasuya vasa kandara kandamule. Synonyms: Anta, oh, I am this; Adri, hill; Abala, oh friends; Hari Das Varya, the best among the servants of the Lord. Yet, because Ram Krishna Charana, of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna and Balaram, Sparasha, by touch; Pramod, jubilant; Manam, respect; Tanoti, offers; Saha, with; Go Ganayo, the cows, calves, and coward boys; Tayo, to them; Sri Krishna and Balaram. Yet, because Paniya, with drinking water; Suyavas, very soft grass; Kandara, caves; Kandamule, and edible roots. Translation: of all the devotees, this Govardhan hill is the best. O my friends, this hill supplies Krishna and Balaram, along with their calves, cows, and covered friends, with all kinds of necessities. Water for drinking, very soft grass, caves, fruits, flowers, vegetables. In this way, the hill offers respect to the Lord. Being touched by the lotus feet of Krishna and Balaram, Govardhan hill appears very jubilant. Purport, and this purport is actually from the followers of His Divine A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. So this translation is quoted from Srila Prabhupada's Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 18.34. Srila Vishwanath Thakur explains the opulence of Govardhan hill as follows. Paniya refers to the fragrant cool water from the Govardhan waterfalls, which Krishna and Balaram drink and use to wash their feet and mouths. Govardhan also offers other beverages such as honey, mango juice, and pilu juice. Suyavas indicates durva grass used to make the religious offering of Arya. Govardhan also has grass that is fragrant, soft, and conducive to the strong growth of cows and increased production of milk. Thus, this grass is used for feeding the transcendental herbs. Kandara refers to the caves where Krishna, Balram, and their friends play, sit, and lie down. These caves give pleasure when the weather is too hot or too cold, or when it is raining. Govardhan also features soft roots for eating, jewels for ornamenting the body, flat places for sitting, lamps and mirrors in form of smooth stones, glistening water, and other natural substances. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानजलशलाकाय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो ओम विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. Okay. All right. So what I'll be doing is we have already read the translation and purport to this verse, and now I'll be sharing the commentary of our acharyas um, on this particular verse. Although what the followers of Srila Prabhupada they have done, and when I say followers means it means Gopi Barandan Prabhu, Hridayanand Maharaj, and Dravida Prabhu, because I think these three are the disciples of Prabhupada who have written purports to the further chapters from where Srila Prabhupada left off. So it is basically 14th chapter, and then I think it was verse number 14 or something like that. And later on, the followers of Srila Prabhupada commented. So what they are doing is majorly they are quoting acharyas, they are sharing the acharyas commentaries, but they do it very briefly. And briefly in the sense that they are giving the most important commentaries and the essence of the commentaries. And wherever there is some missing commentary, then I would like to share that. So in this particular verse, Srila Sanatana Goswami is also sharing wonderful insight. So let me share the commentary of Srila Sanatana Goswami, and then I will also come back to Vishwanath Thakur, because the commentary of Vishwanath Thakur which is shared in the purport is not complete. So I will share that also. All right. So Sanatana Goswami, this is what he says. So aho, fine. Let the good fortune of these Pulindis, who have the ability to go wherever Krishna travels, be far away from us. Govardhan, though immobile, has a topmost good fortune. I am, this is said because of directly pointing to it with the index finger, due to their residing in the vicinity of Sri Govardhan. So basically, this is a part of the chapter which is called as the gopis glorify the song of Krishna's flute. And in that context, they are coming to a point where they start glorifying Govardhan. And it is also mentioned, I think, by one of the acharyas that this particular uh, verse is actually spoken by none other than Shrimati Radharani. So actually, Govardhan is glorified as the highest devotee of Krishna by Shrimati Radharani. Right? So this verse is actually spoken by Shrimati Radharani. All right, let me continue. Okay. So pointing the index finger due to their residing in the vicinity of Sri Govardhan, or it is because of their impression of it as one nearest to Sri Krishna. Now, vicinity of Sri Govardhan means it refers to basically Nandgaon and Barsana. As we know that Nandgaon and Barsana, if you have gone to Vraja, then Nandgaon, Barsana, they are actually closer to Govardhan. So they are residing there, and that's how it is said that residing in the vicinity of Govardhan. Alternatively, the reason is that in this way they avoid mentioning the mountain's name out of great respect. So it is not directly stated. They are referring to Govardhan as this hill. They are not clearly stating Govardhan. Okay, but that is due to out of respect. Now he takes away Harati, unlimited sins and sorrows of the world, and the hearts of all, as is appropriate, and so he is called Hari. This hill is the best. Varya, Varya means Shrestha, of his servants who have his nature. Pramod means eminent joy. It is characterized by growth of grass, the condition of melting, a flow of water drops, etc., which are the natures of horripilation, perspiration, tears of bliss, and so on. And that basically means that when Krishna lifted Govardhan, or I mean, of course, this is not in this particular context, but whenever Krishna is climbing on Govardhan, he's walking over Govardhan, and he's performing his pastime. So then Govardhan gets into ecstasy, and in that ecstatic state, he's manifesting sattvic bhavs, such as horripilation, perspiration, like that. So there are 8 types of sattvic bhav, and Govardhan is manifesting that in the form of the growth of grass, uh, then the melting, the flow of water drops, so tears, then perspiration, and then horripilation. So growth of grass is basically, like your hair standing on end like that. So this is all analogy that they are using in order to share the ecstasy of Govardhan. Regarding Tanoti, it spreads, expands. The sense is it expands the honor of being shown by everyone else. By the word go, cow, other animals are included as a partial indication. Paniya in the plural signifies beverages such as water and honey. Suyavas are soft grasses that promote nourishment and cause the production of milk. The long vowel in Suyavas is a poetic license owing to a conformity with the meter. Alternatively, the word Paniyasu Yavasa means they produce drinkable liquid. That is, they give forth drinkable liquid, and so they are Paniya Su, soft grasses. Or Su stands for Sau, which denotes Rasau, flowers, fruits, and so on. Sometimes the reading is Bhu. The sense of Bhu, ground, is a beautiful place for sitting. Andara means Guha, caves. The following which are there are partially indicated: jewels, beds, seats, lamps, mirrors, and so forth. The varieties of Kand, bulb, and Mool, root, are respectively different. Govardhan gives respect to animals, always with water, soft grass, and caves, and sometimes with bulbous roots too, which can be eaten by them on occasion, and to the cow herders, always with everything. In this regard, soft grass is for the sake of sitting for a picnic, and so forth. The idea in the vocative Abala, girls weak, is by our inability to do what the hill does, we are not even qualified for Dasya. Talk about bad luck. Alternatively, Ram denotes Krishna by the derivation Ramate Sada Kridayati iti Rama. So here, Rama Krishna Charana Sparsha, Ram can also refer to Balram, and at the same time, it can also refer to Ram, which is actually none other than Krishna. So the meaning is he takes pleasure, meaning he always plays. Or Ramayati Sukhayati iti Rama. He makes one delight. That is, he gives happiness. Or Govardhan eminently gives pleasure to Krishna's feet, which are Ram in the same way by its own touch. Govardhan is very soft. Its stones turn into butter balls at once when his lotus feet step on them. In that regard, it eminently gives pleasure in many ways, by warmth in the cold season, by coolness in the hot season, and so on. Moreover, Gana signifies the group of companies such as Sri Balram and Sri Dama. Another interpretation of Ram Krishna Charana Sparsha Pramod is Govardhan has rapture by giving a deed, an amusement to Krishna. This means Govardhan is always enthusiastic to bring about his fun in every way, or it eminently gives pleasure by that touch, or it delights him, or it delights us, or it delights the whole world on account of the effectuation of profuse bliss to all, because by facilitating his entertainment, Govardhan dispels all unhappiness, given that everyone can hear about them, and because of expanding the seva. Another rendering of Ramakrishna Charana Sparsha Pramoda is Govardhan, the great pleasure of whose touch is like the great pleasure of the touch of Krishna's feet, which are Rama, as in Ramayo Krishna Charanayo Eva Sparsha Pramoda Yasya. By touching Govardhan, one accomplishes the bliss of touching Krishna's feet, because since Govardhan is Haridas Varya, the excellence in it is like the excellence consisting of touching his feet, in as much as he constantly performs various pastimes of love here. So this is the commentary by Srila Sanatan Goswami. Now we will also see the commentary by Srila Vishwanath Thakur. But before that, I would also like to add that because there is a context of Ramakrishna Charana Sparsha, and Ram is interpreted to mean as Krishna by Sanatan Goswami as well as Vishwanath Thakur and G. Goswami also. So similarly, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra also is derived like that. That's why the name of the word Ram actually means Krishna. And Radha, so our Acharyas, they say that it basically means Radha Ramanaya, which means that Krishna who gives pleasure to Srimati Radharani. So that way it refers to Krishna. And so sometimes, there is a doubt amongst outsiders, and they say that ISKCON devotees are chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. They are not chanting Radhe Radhe, like, or maybe they are not directly calling out Radhe Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Radhe Radhe Sham, Sham Sham. So why it is like that? And what I've heard is that this Ram is purposefully spoken in order to hide the conjugal loving affairs of Radharani and Krishna and the Manjaris. So, because, see, first of all, we have the concept of Swakya and Parkiya. Of course, if there is Swakya Ras, everyone is married, then there is no question of hiding anything. But when you have Parkiya Ras, so that others do not know about your illicit relationship, Prema relationship with the Lord, especially of Srimati Radharani's Prema relationship with Krishna, that's why the Manjaris, because this Hare Krishna Mahamantra is basically the process of worship that is personally performed by Srimati Radharani. So in the Radha Tantra, the process of worship is given and how Radharani is actually worshipping Krishna. In that, this Hare Krishna Mahamantra is mentioned. And when the Manjaris are chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, so that's why they are not even calling out directly Radha and Krishna. So that's why they are calling Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram. Now, another Ram, when they are using Ram, then it gets more covered up because Ram generally in the Vrajva's connotation, it can mean Lord Balram, but it can also mean Lord Ram for the devotees of Lord Ram or for outside people. And it can also mean, as Prabhupada used to say, it can refer to Parshuram also. So that way, the context of Ram is interpreted in different ways. But the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, and especially because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu promoted the mood of the Sakhis in conjugal rasa in Parkiya Bhav, that's why the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is actually covered up. It is not directly openly saying the name of Krishna with Radha, right? So I hope it makes sense to you. And that's why ultimately it all depends on the conception. It's a conceptual mantra. Okay. Yeah, so this is also a good answer to, because people sometimes from outside they say that, well, your ISKCON movement or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement or Gaudiya Vaishnava movement is giving so much emphasis on Krishna, but they are not calling out Radha Radha. But of course, the name Hare is directly meant, the meaning is actually Srimati Radharani's name only. In the vocative form, it is called Hare. So another name is Hara, and then when we call out in the Hare Krishna, it becomes Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, instead of Hara. Yeah, so another point is that when Srila Prabodhanand Saraswati Thakur, who is the intimate associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he has written in his book Chaitanya Chandramritam, and he describes that the process of worship that we follow as Gaudiya Vaishnavas is that we want to please Radharani. And if we want to please Radharani, then Radharani's method of us to worship Krishna is basically to chant the Krishna's name and talk about and discuss and share about Krishna. So that's why we refer to as, a lot of times we refer to Krishna directly and we chant his glories because that is pleasing to Radharani. So Hare Krishna Mahamantra is a conjugal mantra which has the names of both Radha and Krishna together. And it also makes sense that rather when we call out Hare, then Krishna is pleased, and when we call out Krishna's name, Radharani is pleased. So we get the mercy of both of them, like that. Whereas when you call out Radha Radha, then of course we get the mercy of Krishna. But then Radharani's mercy, like that is available when we call out Krishna Krishna. So only calling out Radhe Radhe is, of course, the name is absolute. It is sufficient in itself. In one way, Radharani, when we call out Radharani is not different from Krishna. So Krishna is already included in Radharani's name. But then if people say that we are only chanting Krishna's name, then we can say that, well, Krishna is absolute and Radha is included in Krishna's name. So that way also we can argue. But anyways, this is just I just felt that I can share this. it's like related to the context of the word Ram. Okay, so let's come to the commentary of Srila Vishwanath Thakur. Okay. Alas, Sakhis, it was heard from Gargi's mouth. Without taking shelter of one of the greats, which means that one of the great souls, and inner longing never fructifies. Only Hari's devotees are great, and of them, Sri Govardhan, the king of hills, is foremost. So today let's go see its presiding deity, Narayan, named Sri Haridev, after bathing in Manas Ganga, which is in that area. Certainly our elders will not object to this, and Krishna plays right there. So this is another wonderful insight by Vishnu Thakur, Chakravarti Thakur. He says that I'm not sure if devotees they have visited Manas Ganga or Mansi Ganga in Govardhan, but you will see that there is a deity of Haridev, which is presiding deity of Govardhan. And basically, what they are saying is that let's meet Krishna and let's meet Krishna secretly. And by saying that we are going to worship Haridev in Manas Ganga, so others will not know about it. So this is where they are indirectly expressing their desire to meet Krishna. And now, how Govardhan is the best of servants, that is also wonderfully explained by Srila Vishwanath Thakur. We'll see that. So, deciding upon this arrangement, the girls desiring to go forward to meet him, their beloved, offer praise to Govardhan for the purpose of fulfilling their own desires, given that it fulfills the desires of Krishna and of his companions. Hanta, alas, has the sense of Vismay, astonishment, of Hari's servants such as Narad Muni. These three, Yudhishthir, Uddhav, and Govardhan, are the foremost Haridasas. Of them, only this hill is Haridas Varya, from the usage of the word Haridas in relation to Yudhishthir. Haridasasya Rajarshe Rajasuyam Mahodayam, while praising the Rajsuya, a grand success of Rajarshi, a servant of Hari. So this is so what Vishwanath Thakur is saying, that how do we say that Govardhan is the best devotee of Krishna, because we know that the gopis are the topmost devotees of the Lord. So now, is Govardhan the topmost devotee or the gopis? Now Vishwanath Thakur is actually bringing the right context and is saying that Haridas, when Govardhan is referred to Haridas, he's saying that there are three types of Haridas. One is Yudhishthir, one is Narad, one is Govardhan. And out of these three Haridas, Haridas Varya, Govardhan is the Shrestha, the topmost. Because of course it is not different from Krishna also. So that way Govardhan is superior when it is in context with the other two devotees. Right? Okay. And in relation, so this particular quote is from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 75th chapter, 27th verse. And this is in context to the Rajsuya Yajna, which was performed by Yudhishthira Maharaj. So that time he was referred as Hari Dasasya Rajarshe. Okay. Now similarly, for Uddhav also there is a Shastra Praman. So in relation to Uddhav, Krishnam Samsmarayan Rame Hari Daso Vrajav Kasam, causing the remembrance of the Vrajvasis, Krishna, the servant of Hari, took pleasure. So this is 10th canto, 47th chapter and 56th verse. Because Yat Yasmat, it has rapture indicated by melting stones due to the touch of Rama and Krishna's feet. So symbols on the feet, such as flag, a lightning flash, and an elephant god by the stones, obtainment of similarity of attributes with mud, when there is a touch of the feet, and tears, horripilation, etc. which corresponds to waterfalls, growth of ground, etc., can be understood as signs of rupture. Here, the usage of the word Ram is for the sake of concealing the mood. As a double meaning from Amar Kosh, Ram Neela Charu Sita Trishu. In all three genders, Ram means Neela, which is a dark color, Charu, beautiful, and Sita, white. So Amarkosh 3.3.140. Ram means Ramaniya, lovely, which applies to Krishna. The gist of vocative Abala is for you who are under the control of your husbands, the only strength is to take shelter of it. So Abala basically refers to the women who are weak in general. So for them, it is said that for you who are under the control of your husband, the only strength is to take shelter of it. So because of this rapture, it expands a worship which gladdens him unto both of them who are with cows and with multitude of friends. With what? With drinking water. That is the water of the cascades, which is nicely cool and fragrant for padya, for achmaniya, and for drinking, and beverages such as honey, mango juice, and pillow juice, which are for naivedya, with durva grass for arghya and grass for the cows grazing. The grass, the main ingredient in the production of milk, is nicely fragrant and very soft. Okay, so this is by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Now I will be also sharing the commentary of Srila Vallabhacharya. So what I am doing is I am also sharing the most important and the essential commentaries of the Acharyas, but with detail. I mean, wherever there is the need of sharing the the complete number of uh, points they have mentioned, so I am sharing that. Otherwise, I am just taking some of the points that they have shared. Okay, so Vallabhacharya, how is it that the Pulindis turned out like this? Being in that way occurred because of the association of a devotee of the Lord. Here the gopis talk about the fact that Govardhan is a devotee of the Lord. This hill, Govardhan, is the best among Hari's servants because it has intense joy in touching both lotus feet of Ram and of Krishna. One who becomes endowed with bliss, even in touching the path of bhakti, is the best among those who belong to the Lord. Govardhan shows hospitality to both of them with water and so on. Right. Okay. So this is by Sripad Vallabhacharya. So what he's saying is that just like um, we can get intense bliss by touching Govardhan, so by touching the path of bhakti, he is also the best among those who belong to the Lord. All right. So this with this we are done with the 21st chapter, 18th verse. Now let us go to 24th chapter. This is where the Govardhan pastime starts. Worshipping Govardhan. So what we'll be doing is we'll be only going through the translations. And wherever there is a commentary by the Acharya, whichever verse, I will be sharing that verse. Okay. So the first verse. All right. So Sukdev Goswami said, while staying in that very place with his brother Baldev, Lord Krishna happened to see the coward men busily arranging for a sacrifice to Indra. All right, so now let's see the commentary of, we'll start with the commentary of Srila Sanatan Goswami. Okay, so after mentioning pastimes that were done mostly in the 6th and the 7th years of age, from the beginnings of the cow herding, now Sukdev Goswami continues in order to talk about that pastime at the outset of the 8th year with 4 chapters starting from the 24th chapter. So actually, Krishna lifted the Govardhan at the age of 8. while continuously living with great attachment only in Vraj. This suggests that he is dedicated to having fun in Vraj, and that those who live there are most fortunate. The Brahmanas did not go from their place. The Lord too did not come to console them while residing only in Vraj. He was accompanied by Baldev. The gist is he didn't send him either to console them. So the sense of Indra Yag Krito Daman Apashyat is he saw the cowards' endeavors. They gathered various ingredients for the purpose of worshipping Indra, raised a flag for Indra, etc. at the pond called Indra Dwaj, located east of Govardhan. So somewhere close to the Govind Kund also, because that's the place where Krishna was uh, Krishna's Abhishek was done. So if you have been to Govardhan, if you have visited Govind Kund, which is also the place of the sitting place of bhajan place of Srila Madhavendra Puri. So this is the place where this pastime also happened. So although the coward men were performing sacrifice from Indra and exerting themselves for him every year, and even though it had already been seen by the Lord, still the mention of a detail now with Apashyat, Esau, and so forth is because of an indifference to that previously in consideration of waiting for a suitable time, either for the amusement of lifting Govardhan or for the pastime of breaking the sacrifice to Indra. So, so at a particular age, at the age of 8 years, Krishna decided to lift the Govardhan hill. But previously also this was happening. The puja for Indra was um, like performed every year, but Krishna decided at the age of 8, at the appropriate time, so that he could perform this pastime. Thus, previously Krishna was not interested in breaking a sacrifice to Indra or lifting over the hill. Moreover, this pastime occurred when the autumn season had begun, at the end of the rainy season, on account of the statement in Sri Harivamsha. So Harivamsha says, all the cows decorated with chaplets of autumnal flowers should circumambulate the best of mountains, keeping it to the right, and then return to the cowshed. Indeed, the charming autumn season had arrived. It is delightful because it provides the cows with palatable grass and water. At this time, the lakes do not reflect any cloud. So here, Harivamsh, quoting Harivamsh, Sanatan Goswami is saying that this actually pastime occurred when the autumn season began. And this is Harivamsh 2.16.13 to 14. So the rain, and even Srimad Bhagavatam also says the rain was out of season and vehement. Bhagavatam 10th canto 25th chapter 15th verse. Now I will share what Srila Jiva Goswami says. So Krishna once said to the young girls of Vraj, Yata bala vrajam siddha mayama ramyastha shapa. Girls, go to the village. You are successful. You will enjoy these nights with me. Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto 22nd chapter 27th verse. So the Lord enjoyed with the gopis during autumn nights, which he had talked about in the winter. Of course, those nights were in the autumn after that winter, not in any other year. The beginning of that enjoyment will be mentioned only in regards to the full moon of autumn. So the Bhagavatam 10th canto 29th chapter 1 to 3, which is the Rasa Panchatya. That full moon is the full moon night of Ashwin, which occurs within autumn. This worship of Govardhan took place on the first day of the bright fortnight during the month of Kartik and was imitated by the Vraj Devis during the Raslila. The pastime of going to Varuna's kingdom happened only after the worship of Govardhan. Therefore, from the previous autumn to the next, the worship of Govardhan and going to Varuna's kingdom, the theft of Gopis' garments, the acceptance of offerings of sacrificial Brahmana wives, and the games of Rasa are to be understood in that sequence. The analysis of the various years will be done at the end of occurrence of the killing of comes. The mention out of order by Sukdev Goswami is due to the helplessness of Prema, and also because pastimes pertain to the same category. So because Sukdev Goswami was in ecstasy, and so he was just narrating the pastime out of pure love, and he was not following a particular sequence. But our Acharya, they have given a proper sequence, which pastime followed after which pastime, like that. Now the meaning of Bhagavan Api Tatraiva is this. Accompanied by Baldev, the Lord too, residing right there, a special place near the coward village suitable for a sacrifice to him, and where cowards were living. After setting out together and were busy, saw the cowards by whom efforts were made for a sacrifice to Indra. The sense is he only kept looking with the desire to see the means of accomplishing another sacrifice with those articles. He did not say anything at first. In Sri Vishnu Puran, it says, in Vraj, at a time when the constellations in the sky were bright, Krishna saw that the residents of Vraj were laboring diligently for the purpose of a great undertaking for Indra. This is Vishnu Puran 5.10.16. And in Sri Harivamsh, it is mentioned when the two great heroes arrived at the coward village, they heard that the time for sacrifice to Indra was near, and that the coward men were eager for a festival. This is given in Harivamsh 2.15.2. The narration is done in a general way, whereas here details are given. That is the difference. This amusement occurred only on the first day of the bright fortnight during the month of Kartik, because this event is a regular occurrence in Kartik. It is a traditional conduct of people of central India. Another reason is the rain was out of season and vehement, according to the Bhagavatam 10.25.15. For instance, it is said in that way in Padma Puran, at the end of activities performed during the new moon in Kartik, linked to offerings of lambs. When the sun has risen on the first day of the fortnight, Govardhan should be worshipped. At night, one should play dice game. This is given in Padma Puran 6.122.29. Therefore, the description in Sri Harivamsh that the event occurred at the junction of the monsoon and the autumn is like the description of the shore of an ocean. Sometimes in central India, the rains continue during the month of Ashwin also, the first of the 2 months of autumn. So this is Srila Jiva Goswami's commentary. Now we'll move on to the next verse. Okay. So being the omniscient super soul, the Supreme Lord Krishna already understood the situation, yet he still humbly inquired from the elders, headed by his father Nand Maharaj. Okay, so we'll see the commentary to this verse. So Jiva Goswami says, so he inquired, although he was aware of that. That is the sacrifice to Indra seen each previous year. In addition, although he is the Lord, due to being an ocean of all virtues, he inquired only while bowing with humility. The reason for being aware is he is Paramatma. The reason for asking is Sarva Darshana. He shows everything, meaning he impels everyone for his own purpose. My ancestors, who are not immediately related to me, performed the worship of gods who are averse to me. Fine, that was then. But now the worship of these cowards who are close to me makes me happy only if I am its essential aspect. And so the worship of Indra performed by my father and others give me sorrow. Indra is extremely insignificant on account of the grand glory of Vraj. The sign of that glory was Tad Bhuri Bhagyam, etc. May I have profuse good fortune, by which I will have some birth in this forest. So this is quoted by Brahma. I mean, this is spoken by Brahma. It's there in the Srimad Bhagavatam 10:14:34. So when Brahma is also saying that I have profuse good fortune, by which I will take some birth in the forest, then we can just imagine what is the position of Indra. It's very insignificant. and moreover, he is very proud. So Brahma is also feeling very proud. And of course, Indra is also very proud because uh, he thinks that because he is one of the demigods, so he feels that he is the controller, and that's why he is very proud. Okay, and now Srila Vishwanath Thakur, so he says that although he was aware of that, insofar as it was seen in each previous year, the sense of Sarvatma, the soul of everyone, is, though in the form of Paramatma, he impels the cowards to perform a sacrifice to Indra, it was for the sake of joviality of a pastime. Sarva Darshana denotes Sarvam Udarkam Pashyati iti sa. He sees all the consequences. He's shattering Indra's pride and his fun of staying with his kin for 7 days and nights. So he's already seeing the future and he's decided to have pastimes. Okay. So from verse number 3 to verse number 8, there are no commentaries that I will be sharing, and we can just go through translation. Okay, so text number 3, Lord Krishna said, "My dear father, kindly explain to me what this great endeavor of yours is all about. What is it going to accomplish? If this is a ritual sacrifice, then for whose satisfaction is it intended, and by what means it is going to be executed?" Verse number 4, please tell me about it, O father. I have a great desire to know, and I am ready to hear in good faith. Certainly, no secrets are to be kept by saintly personalities who see all others as equal as themselves, who have no conception of mind or another's, and who do not consider who is a friend, who is an enemy, and who is neutral. Verse number 5. One who is neutral may be avoided like an enemy, but a friend should be considered like one's own self. Number 6. When people in this world perform activities, sometimes they understand what they are doing and sometimes they don't understand. Those who know what they are doing achieve success in their work, whereas ignorant people do not. Number 7, such being the case, this ritualistic endeavor of yours should be clearly explained to me. Is it a ceremony based on scriptural intention or simply a custom of ordinary society? Number 8, Nanmara replied, the great Lord Indra is a controller of the rain. The clouds are his personal representatives and they directly provide rainwater, which gives happiness and sustenance to all creatures. Number 9, not only we, my dear son, but also many other men worship him, the Lord and Master of the rain-giving clouds. We offer him grain and other paraphernalia of worship produced through his own discharge in the form of rain. Okay, so we'll go to the commentary of Srila Sanatana Goswami. Yeah. Okay, so Sanatana Goswami and Jeev Goswami both state the same, and they say that Tat, which means dear boy, is an affectionate vocative to evoke faith in his words and to make him understand the goal. We cowherds, but not only we, for the sake of cow protection, and all other men worship him. Krishna might say, the sun evaporates water. Isn't it well known that rain occurs on account of the sun? He responds, Indra is the master of clouds. This means only he is the controller of the form of clouds and even of sun rays. For instance, in the Vishnu Puran, it is mentioned, water on earth is evaporated by sun rays. With clouds, Parjanya rains on earth for everyone's welfare. Parjanya here refers to Indra. So this is Vishnu Puran 5.10.23. How is it so? He is a controller on account of being the king of gods. Otherwise, he would make us afraid by his anger. An additional interpretation is as follows. It is not appropriate that you cowards, the best Vaishnavas, worship another god. To that he says, Ishwaram. The sense is we revere him by having Paramatma in mind. So in the point of Tad Tesha Siddha, the drift is, in truth, our worship of Indra at first with those substances is proper because we have no ownership over them. Otherwise, ungratefulness and other faults would accrue. Or the third person is used with the desire to express the predominance of others in order to repel his faults out of fear of transgressing his statements. Cowards shouldn't worship other gods. On account of knowing his son's intention, topmost Vaishnavas should only worship Bhagwan. Now we'll see Vishwanath Thakur's commentary. Okay, so this is implied by the affectionate vocative Tat, which means dear junior. You, my son, are virtuous and were obtained only by the favor of such praiseworthy gods. Therefore, you, handsome and auspicious, should not speak against their worship. As a matter of fact, even the concept of being the doer in that fire sacrifice is inappropriate. This is what he says with Tad Retasa Siddhe, which means with ingredients brought about by his rainwater. Okay, so we'll go to verse number 10. Again, there is no commentary I'll be sharing for 10 and 11. By accepting the remnants of sacrifices performed to Indra, people sustain their lives and accomplish the threefold aims of religiosity, economic development, sense gratification. Thus, Lord Indra is the agent responsible for the fruitive success of industrious people. Number 11. This religious principle is based on sound tradition. Anyone who rejects it out of lust, enmity, fear, or greed will certainly fail to achieve good fortune. Verse number 12. So Sukdev Goswami said, when Lord Keshava, Krishna, heard the statements of his father Nanda and other senior residents of Vraj, he addressed his father as follows to arouse anger in Lord Indra. Okay, so text number 12, commentary by Srila Sanatana Goswami. So the word tatha has the sense of cha, which means and so tathan yesam means anyesam cha, which means and of others, insofar as the other Vrajvasis shared Nanda's opinion. Or tatha means in that way, in as much as they reiterated the answers that Nanda said. Thus, in the evening, the Lord, who had arrived to the cowherd village, saw the cowards endeavoring for sacrifice and inquired from them. It should be known in this way, in accordance with the text in Vishnu Puran and Harivamsh. So, Vishnu Puran says, in Vraj, at a time when the constellation, the light in the sky were bright, he saw that the residents of village were laboring diligently for beginning of a festival in Indra's honor. And the Harivamsh says, when the two great heroes arrived at the cowherd village, they heard that the time for a sacrifice to Indra was near, and the cowherd men were eager for a festival. The words Indraya Manyum Janayan, which means to arouse Indra's anger, are said either because of doctrine of karma, which is karmaval, which rejects the devta, or because of the deception of the fire sacrifice. Krishna speaks eminently by demonstrating a firm logic in many ways, and so forth. The name Keshav means Ka Brahma Isha Rudra Tau Vati, which means he derides Brahma. So Ka means Brahma and Rudra Isha. So he derides Brahma, Ka and Rudra Isha. The verbal root is Va Gati Gandha Nayo, to go to deride. Or the verbal root is Ved Tantu Santane, to weave. So Keshav Vayate Nija Mahimna Vyapnoti. He weaves Brahma and Shiva. That is, he encompasses them by his glory. Or Va has the sense of Asti, existence. He for whom Brahma and Shiva exist as excellent servants. And so the idea is he to whom unlimited gods are subordinate is rejecting the Devta only due to his jovial nature. Or the reason is he intends to crush Indra's arrogant pride. Or the drift is Keshav is the presiding deity of Mathura, and so he is rejecting the Devta to expand the glory of Govardhan, which is in the district of Mathura. So Sanatan Goswami says that Brahma and Shiva, they are the servants, excellent servants of the Lord, and he also derides Brahma and Shiva. That's the derivation of the name Keshava, as well as he is the one who weaves Brahma and Shiva. And then he also says that um, Keshava is also used in this context to indicate that he is actually the deity presiding deity of Mathura. So if anyone has visited Mathura, then they can go to the temple of Keshavdev. There you can see the deity of Keshavdev. And in that context, it is said that he is actually the presiding deity of Mathura, not Indra. And that is ultimately glorification of Govardhan, because Keshavdev is in Mathura and Govardhan is also in the district of Mathura. So now let's go to Srila Jiva Goswami, what he has to say. So regarding Tathen Yesam Rajau Kasam Vacho Nisamya, which means hearing the words of other residents of Vraj in that way, the cowards spoke just like Nanda did, either of their own accord or with his expressed approval. In the point of Indraya Manyum Janayan, the gist is he is an outsider and deserves to be disrespected. The implication of Pitaram, father, is that Nanda is the highest insider and is most deserving of respect. The name Keshav is derived as Ka Brahma Isha Rudra Tau Vayate Nijam Mahimna Vyapnoti. He pervades Brahma and Shiva by his glory. Sukdev implies this. Who is miserable Indra compared to him? So Jiva Goswami states that actually Indra is an outsider in comparison to the Vrajvasis, and Nanda, Yashoda, they are all insiders. So they are inside and outsider in the context of very dear to Krishna. So all the devotees of Vraj, they are all very dear to Krishna, because Vraj is Krishna's own home. It is his own house. And that's why whoever is riding in that, they are most dear to Krishna. So Indra actually is meant to be disrespected because he's the one who's causing harm to the Vrajvasis. And Vrajvasis are the heart of Krishna. So Indra can be disrespected because he's outsider, whereas Nand Maharaj cannot be respected. He has to be given the highest respect because he is an insider. And he also derives the meaning of the name Keshava by saying that he pervades Brahma and Shiva by his glory. So this is how Jiva Goswami comments. And then Srila Vishwanath Thakur. So he says that Indraya Manyum stands for Indrasya Manyum, Indra's anger. The purpose of arousing Indra's anger is to break his fall pride, to inaugurate a yearly festival in Govardhan, to live Govardhan, to enjoy the pastime of staying with all his dear ones, and so on. And this will also be understood later. Okay, so now coming to text 13. Lord Krishna said, it is by the force of karma that the living entity takes birth, and it is by karma alone that he meets his destruction. His happiness, distress, fear, and sense of security all arise as the effects of karma. Okay, so there are four acharyas who have given commentaries. I mean, whose commentary I'm going to share. So Srila Sridhar Swami. Now Sridhar Swami is the original commentator of Srimad Bhagavatam, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has declared his commentary as he's basically the most respected acharya and commented on the Srimad Bhagavatam. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the one who has actually given him the exclusive privilege. So all the acharyas, they are meant to follow the commentary of Srila Sridhar Swami. They are meant to follow in his footsteps, and they cannot refute his commentary. Okay, so Sridhar Swami, at the outset, he uses the doctrine of karma to reject the gods. If someone were to argue, how can the result of actions be affected merely by karma, which is inert? His response would be, the fluttering faith of those who didn't study karma mimamsa philosophy. Given that it's understood from the text in that system that karma is the cause of all results, is there anything not brought about by karma? So Sridhar Swami is saying that um, someone may argue, how can results of actions be affected merely by karma? Now, karma is actually inert. It is a jad tattva. It's actually material. It does not have consciousness. So how can karma give the results of action? So then, in that response of basically, Sridhar Swami is saying that Krishna will use this answer as a response to the argument, and he will say that, well, have you not studied the karma mimamsa philosophy? And it says that karma is the cause of all result, and there is nothing which is not brought about by karma. This is what Krishna will respond. This is what Sridhar Swami says. Now coming to Srila Sanatana Goswami's commentary. So since the doctrine of karma is very well known everywhere, at first he repudiates his father's discourse by taking support of it. Karmana chiefly denotes prarabdha karma, karma that has begun to manifest in this life, insofar as only that gives a fixed result. Jantu means sarvo api jiva, any living entity. Shemam, meaning well-being, signifies abhayam, fearlessness. The repeated repetition of karmana by karma strengthens the idea that karma is a sole cause. The same idea is reinforced with the two words eva. So Sanatana Goswami says that because the doctrine of karma is very well known everywhere, that's why in the beginning Krishna tries to refute his father's explanation by taking side of karma mimamsa philosophy. So this is karma mimamsa philosophy which is promoted by Krishna. Of course, this is only done to establish the need to worship Govardhan. It is not the real understanding. It is not supported by the scriptures as well, and Krishna also does not support that. But it is just done to somehow convince the Vrajvasis. In fact, just to convince Nand Maharaj. If Nand Maharaj is convinced, then rest all the other Vrajvasis will also follow him. So, in order to convince Nand Maharaj, Krishna is using this karma mimamsa philosophy as a tool. But then later on, of course, he will also reject that. Okay, so now we'll go to the commentary of Srila Jiva Goswami. So Jiva Goswami says that who the heck is Indra to accept the worship of my father and other eternal associates of mine? Although dispelling Indra's pride remains on his mind, still, in order to enhance the human pastime, at first he, not revealing his motive, repudiates his father's discourse by referring to the doctrine of karma mimamsa, since it is very well known everywhere. And now we'll see the commentary of Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan. So the Karmavadis repudiate the aspect of Devta. This concept is referred to here because of the statement of Shruti. Yatha karo yatha charo tatha bhavati. As is the doer and as is the conduct, so it becomes. It shouldn't be said, how can karma, which is inert, be the doer of birth, death, and the rest? Because doership, although inert, seen in chalati, jalam. The water goes in chalati jalam, which means the water goes, falati taru, the tree bears fruit, and so on. So the argument given here is that falati taru, the tree bears fruit, and the water also goes. Now these are all inert things, but then still it is happening, right? The tree is bearing the fruit, and the water is also moving. So how does it happen? So it is happening by the means of karma, like that. So this is what these are some of the arguments that that is in support of karma mimamsa philosophy. But of course, these arguments can also be refuted. But this is what the Acharya they are sharing about Krishna, how he is actually supporting the karma mimamsa philosophy. I was trying to convince Nand Maharaj. Okay. So let's move to verse number 14 now. Even one second. Okay, so verse number 14. Even if there is some supreme controller who awards all others the result of their activities, he must also depend upon a performers engaging in activity. After all, there is no question of being the bestower of fruitive results unless fruitive activities have actually been performed. So this is what Krishna argues, and Srila Vishwanath Thakur says, how can the results of actions be affected by karma, merely by karma, which is inert? A God who awards the results of actions is necessarily required. He responds to that with Asti, Chet, and so on. If there is a giver of the results of actions done by others, even he follows the doer on account of giving a result only in accordance with the action. He strengthens that with a contrast, because if there is no action, he is unable to give the intended result. So here Vishwanath Thakur is saying, as Krishna is saying, that even if there is a demigod, let's assume that there is a demigod or some kind of controller, how is he able to give the result? And he is able to give the result because someone has performed karma, and because of that action, the demigod or the god in control is also obliged to give the result for that particular action. So indirectly, he is also in control of karma. So karma is the one who is actually causing everything. This is what Krishna is trying to argue. Okay, text number 15. Living beings in this world are forced to experience the consequence of their own particular previous work. Since Lord Indra cannot in any way change the destiny of human beings, which is born of their own nature, why should people worship him? Yeah, so the Vishwanath Thakur comments on verse number 15. As a result cannot be affected by a devta. Someone might argue the flow of karma depends only on Paramatma. How can there be no use of a devta in every way? Expecting this, he says, Paramatma, no other impels a soul to do only that work which is determined by previous samskaras, meaning the work is established as one's duty. Hence, what good result is to be achieved by means of praiseworthy Indra, who is unable to change karma? No good result at all. So the same type of argument is presented. Next verse. So from 16 to 18, I'm not sharing commentaries. So we'll just go through the text. Every individual is under the control of his own conditioned nature, and thus he must follow that nature. This entire universe, with all its demigod, demons, and human beings, is based on the conditioned nature of the living entities. 17. Because it is karma that causes the conditioned living entity to accept and then give up different high and low grade material bodies, this karma is his enemy, friend, and neutral witness, his spiritual master and controlling lord. Number 18. Therefore, one should seriously worship work itself. A person should remain in the position corresponding to his nature and should perform his own duty. Indeed, by that which we may live nicely is really our worshipable deity. Text number 19. If one thing is actually sustaining our life, but we take shelter of something else, how can we achieve any real benefit? We would be like an unfaithful woman who can never achieve any actual benefit by consulting with her paramour. Okay, so Sanatan Goswami, what he says. So having made one thing the means of living, One who enjoys happiness from another means does not gain happiness or auspiciousness because of that, or else from that other means. The substance is consequently our worship of cows, our means of living, and Sri Govardhan, on which they depend, should be carried out. So, text number 20. The Brahmana maintains his life by studying and teaching the Vedas, the member of the royal order by protecting the earth, the Vaishya by trade, and the Sudra by serving the higher, twice born classes. So, Srila Sanatan Goswami, in this commentary says, now, to refute Nanda's words, to achieve dharma, arth, and calm, people sustain their lives with the remnants of that fire sacrifice. Parjanya, uh, he's actually Indra. Parjanya is Indra. So Parjanya engenders the results of human endeavors. At first, to nicely establish only the worship of their own livelihood. In two verses, he mentions their own occupation of tending cows. Although the word Vraja refers to those in the three higher castes, it primarily denotes Brahmanas because they are the most important. Or Vraja means those in the three higher castes. Okay, from 21 to 23, there is no commentary that I'll be sharing. So we'll go through the text. The occupational duties of the Vaishya are conceived in four divisions: farming, commerce, cow protection, and money lending. Out of these, we as community are always engaged in cow protection. Number 22, the causes of creation, maintenance, and destruction are the three modes, namely goodness, passion, ignorance. In particular, the mode of passion creates this universe and through sexual combination causes it to become full of variety. Number 23, impelled by the material mode of passion, the clouds pour down their rain everywhere, and by this rain all creatures gain their sustenance. What has the great Indra to do with this arrangement? Text number 24. My dear father, our home is not in the cities or towns or villages. Being forest dwellers, we always live in the forest and on the hills. Okay. So the commentary by Vishwanath Thakur. So the derivation of Govardhan is being perceived. Ga vardayati iti Govardhana. It makes cows increase and so it is called Govardhan. The occupation of tending cows is dependent on Govardhan. Hence Govardhan should be worshipped. He says this in two verses. They are forest dwellers insofar as they are graze cows. Next verse. Next verse, there is no commentary to be shared. So 25, number 25. Therefore, may a sacrifice for the pleasure of the cows, the Brahmanas and Govardhan Hill begin with all the paraphernalia collected for worshipping Indra. Let this sacrifice be performed instead. Text number 26. That many different kinds of food be cooked from sweet rice to vegetable soups. Many kinds of fancy cakes, both baked and fried, should be prepared. And all the available milk products should be taken for this sacrifice. So, yeah. Sanatan Goswami says, so this sacrifice should be even more special than a sacrifice for Indra. With this in mind, the four verses dictates the details of its procedure. So there are no commentaries in between 27 to 30, and we'll just read the translation. The Brahmanas who are learned in Vedic mantras must properly invoke the sacrificial fires. Then you should feed the priest with nicely prepared food and reward them with cows and other gifts. So basically, as according to Sanatan Goswami, he says that Krishna wants the sacrifice of for the Govardhan should be much more effective than the sacrifice for Indra. So he's giving the procedure in these four verses. Text number 28. After giving the appropriate food to everyone else, including such foreign souls as dogs and dog eaters, you should give grass to the cows and then present your respectful offerings to Govardhan Hill. Text number 29. After everyone has eaten to his satisfaction, you should all dress and decorate yourselves handsomely, smear your bodies with sandal paste, and then circumambulate the cows, the Brahmanas, the sacrificial fires, and Govardhan Hill. Text number 30. This is my idea, O Father, and you may carry it out if it appeals to you. Such a sacrifice will be very dear to me, the cows, the Brahmanas, and the Govardhan hill, and also to me. Text number 31. Sukdev Goswami said, Lord Krishna, who is himself powerful time, desired to destroy the false praise of Indra. When Nanda and other senior men of Vrindavan heard Sri Krishna's statement, they accepted his words as proper. So, Srila Sanatan Goswami and Ji Goswami, they state the following. So, another interpretation of Kalatmana is Kala Shamala Atma Deha Yasya, by him whose body is dark blue. This means by Sham Sundar. The tenor is everyone was made submissive by his beauty, not to mention that they were charmed by his words. Alternatively, Kalayati Jagat Chittam Akarshiti iti Kala Atma Swabhava Yasya, by him whose nature attracts the hearts of all. The idea is this acceptance of his statements is not surprising. He had spoken with the desire to crush Indra's pride. That pride consisted of being disrespectful by viewing Nanda and others as material cowards and Krishna as a mortal. His pride will be described in the next chapter. Okay, so text number 32. 32 to 34. The coward community then did all that Madhusudan had suggested. They arranged for the Brahmanas to recite the auspicious Vedic mantras, and using the paraphernalia they had been intended for Indra's sacrifice, they presented offerings to Govardhan Hill, and the Brahmanas with reverential respect. They also gave grass to the cows. Then, placing the cows, bulls, and calves in front of them, they circumambulated Govardhan. Text number 34. As the beautifully ornamented covered ladies followed along, riding on wagons drawn by oxen, they sang the glories of Lord Krishna, and their songs mingled with the Brahmanas chanting of benedictions. So, commentary by Srila Sanatan Goswami and Srila Ji Goswami. So, Sukdev Goswami uses the name Madhusudana to make Parikshit understand that the cowards had no fear of Indra. As a pun, Madhusudan means he takes the essence like a bee, and he especially enjoys sweet ras. And so it is fitting that he should inaugurate a sacrifice for his best servant, and that he should enjoy those offerings. This will be stated ahead. So this is Srila Sanatan Goswami Ji Goswami's commentary. Now moving on with verse number 35. Krishna then assumed an unprecedented huge form to instill faith in the coward man, declaring, I am Govardhan mountain. He ate the abundant offerings. So Sanatan Goswami says, to show that this sacrifice which he inaugurated is by far superior to the sacrifice for Indra, and to continuously generate trust in him, under the guise of being Sri Govardhan, he himself appeared separately on the top of it, and right after the gift of offerings, directly ate those offerings to give bliss to all. Thus, the word tu in Krishna's tu has the sense of purvato vishesha, a particularity compared to before. Okay. Now, Srila Vishwanath Thakur, what he says. So, to illustrate the extraordinary eminence of the sacrifice that he inaugurated, while making everyone believe in that matter, he himself became manifest as the form of a devta. He assumed an identity which had all the senses. It was anyatama, meaning it was as if a second mountain above Govardhan Hill, a form about which the cowards have the belief. The mountain is he. While saying Shaila Asmi, the mountain is I, this means he followed that up with this. I, the sole overlord of this place, have appeared being gracious because of your bhakti. Each of you can choose a boon. He ate the edibles which were being offered either visibly by residents of Vraj that were far or near, possibly by those who abide in Nangram, or invisibly by meditation. He who had thousands and millions of hands took humongous offerings from those various places with his hands extremely long and ate the food to give bliss to all those persons. And now Sripad Vallabhacharya. He ate the offerings. At that time, the cowards asked him, "Who are you?" While saying Shaila Asmi, the word iti is expressive of a method, prakar, in this way. To some, he said Govardhan Asmi, to some, he said Shailo Asmi, and to others, he uttered Parvato Asmi. He ate the abundant offering. So, to the different Brajvasis, he said, he responded, reciprocated with different meanings of the word Asmi, which means, like, he said to some Govardhan Asmi, Shailo Asmi, and Parvato Asmi. This is Vallabhacharya's commentary. And then there is another commentary by Ganga Sahaya, which is called as Anvitartha Prakashika. It states there that Krishna, however, assumed another form, super eminent among other forms of the Lord, to make the cowards believe that Govardhan was a Devta of sorts. Therefore, he, being a huge form located atop the hill, ate the offerings presented by the cowards while saying Saila Asmi, which means Saila Bhimani Devo Asmi, the divinity who has the conceit of being the mountain is I. Now text 36 to 37. Together with the people of Vraj, the Lord bowed down to his form of Govardhan Hill, thus in effect offering obeisances to himself. Then he said, "Just see how this hill has appeared in person and bestowed mercy upon us." Text 37. This Govardhan Hill, assuming any form he wishes, will kill any residents of the forest who neglect him. Therefore, let us pay our obeisances to him for the safety of ourselves and our cows. So, in the Harinam, Krishna explains, this is just a side note. It is not a part of any commentary of the Acharya. Hills protect the woodland by assuming various forms, such as lions and tigers, which scare loggers away. If those persons do mischief, the animals will kill them. Therefore, Govardhan Hill, the cowards' shelter, should be worshipped by cowards. Mentioned in Harivamsh 2.16, 6 to 10. Now the commentary of Srila Sanatana Goswami to verse number 37. So he says that why did they offer obeisances? The reason is mentioned in the verse of 6 lines, beginning from Aho, being directly perceptible. Once again. Being directly perceptible or being most beautiful due to the inability to fully cover his topmost natural beauty. Moreover, suspecting the rise of the coward's cognizance, to conceal it, he did a favor, said in that way, by being embodied and by directly consuming the offerings. It kills non-devotees too. It kills those who show contempt. That is, those who show contempt upon seeing it directly eat the unlimited offerings of all. Or it kills those who show disrespect by not doing the sacrifice. In this way, that sacrifice is repeatedly emphasized. It kills mortals, those in whose nature is the attribute of dying, and those who abide in the forest, meaning those who do not have a gateway or any such thing on their property. Because it kills, we should offer obeisances for our well-being and for the cows, or for our cows' well-being, given that the Vrajvasis' well-being depends on the cows. Additionally, this is to be understood. It disappeared after giving some boon, a directly perceived result to someone. Now, Sanatan Jeev Goswami's commentary to verse number 37. So here, inciting the father and others to give obeisance is not contradictory, because with regard to that other form, yet another avatar, he is not a son. Besides, everyone already behaves that way towards Narayan. What happened after this, the direct order of that huge form of his, is described in Harivamsha. So from today, I should be worshipped. If you have compassion for cows, I am your first God, the splendid deity who fulfills all desires. And by my power, you will consume the nectar of the cows. For you, my devotees, I will also become Shiva, or auspicious. I will take pleasure with you in every forest, as if I were in heaven. Pleased with these celebrated cowards, among whom the leader is Nanda, I am bestowing ample wealth to all of you cowards. The cows, accompanied with calves, and brahmanas should circumambulate me. In this way, I will have the topmost list. There is no doubt about it. Harivamsha 2.17, 27 to 31. And now Sripad Vallabhacharya. So Kam Rupi means Kamam Yatheshtam Rupavan. It has a form at will, and so it becomes armed, it becomes tiger, it becomes a lion, and so on. And now we'll move to the last verse of this 24th chapter, verse number 38. So the members of the coward community, having thus been inspired by Lord Vasudev to properly execute the sacrifice to Govardhan Hill, the cows and the brahmanas returned with Lord Krishna to their village, Vraj. Okay, so Srila Sridhar Swami's commentary on verse number 38. In regards to agitating the god, these 6 opinions were stated, but were not meant. First, karma alone is the cause of origination of happiness, etc. Second, one's primordial nature, subconscious tendencies, is able. Third, the gunas are able. Fourth, a great controller is an aspect of karma. Fifth, the great controller is subject to karma. And sixth, the maker of one's occupation is one's deity. So these are the 6 arguments that Krishna stated. Now the commentary by Srila Sanatan Goswami and Srila Jeev Goswami. So iti means either anena prakarena, urged by Vasudev in this manner, or idrisham, a sacrifice of this sort. Here the hill is mentioned first compared to verse 30, because Sri Govardhan was foremost in that sacrifice, and because it is the best Haridas. So in number 30, the Govardhan hill was actually mentioned later, but here it is mentioned first. The cowards were urged by Vasudev, the presiding deity of all. He is the presiding deity of the subconscious, Chitta. That explains why they did as he instructed. So we know that Vasudeva actually is the presiding deity of the Chitta, right? Which is according to the Srimad Bhagavatam. And that's why he was able to inspire them, and they followed his instruction. A special happy oneness of opinion with the soul of all has also been shown. Or the sense is the name Vasudev is used because as Vasudev Nandana, he is dedicated to revealing his infinite Aishwarya. And so the drift is inaugurating the worship of Sri Govardhan, the best Haridas, by disrupting the sacrifice to Indra, who was maddened by arrogant pride on account of Aishwarya, was proper. Fittingly, they were accompanied by Krishna. Owing to an upsurge of special affection, they were unable to abandon him. Right after meeting him, they went to their abode near Nandishwar hill. Their village was located more than 1 cross from Sri Radhakund in the northeastern direction of Govardhan. In this way, by appearance of Karmavad, which rejects the Devta, the predominance of actions is established. In addition, the flow of karma takes place just because of the control of samskara. In that way, given that samskar is the root cause of karma, is the root of karma, the idea that one should be resolute about karma is meant. Therefore, any power or actions that is not occurring by this axiom is rejected. Antaryamina yatha preyate tathanu stiyate. An action is done just as it is impelled by Paramatma. Over and above that, the livelihood must necessarily be brought about only by the nature of guna, such as sattva gun, and so the idea that at some point in the time karma will cease to exist by the absence of an effort to make a living is repudiated because of the mention of the necessary worship of one's livelihood, the maker of gain and preservation. Thus, in every way, the primordialness of actions is strengthened, and that is just for the sake of being dedicated to one's bhakti, the main thing of all actions. Further, the essential characteristic of being dedicated to bhakti is the worship of his devotees, hence the worship of Sri Govardhan. Haridas is emphasized, such is the philosophical conclusion. In this regard, Krishna's hidden intention was this: I am the fullness, Parmeshwar, and am their son, their cousin, and so on. Therefore, who else might be in charge of these towers? Who at all is another divinity? Their moving force is their only nature, which is full of pure love. Moreover, there should be an acceptance of a devta as human pastime. Only those who have a close connection with me are suitable participants. Nonetheless, I do not strive to suggest it in order to safeguard the nature of human-like pastimes. Consequently, I will give an impetus in this way by enlightening them about those things only by teaching the artistic doctrines of Sankhya and Mimamsa. It is to be inferred in like manner elsewhere, also everywhere. So, by this, we can conclude the first chapter of Govardhan pastime, which is worshipping of Sri Govardhan Hill. And I've shared the commentaries of the Acharyas. So, yeah, so I think we can stop here. I mean, we'll not be able to cover the other 2 chapters. I think the first chapter itself took almost more than 1 hour 15 minutes. So maybe the next 2 chapters we'll discuss. We'll continue next time, maybe next year in Kartik month. So let's. So by this we can conclude the class, and if there are any questions or comments, then devotees can share.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much for explaining all about this all auspicious Govardhan. There's so much to it, and I was hearing that the topmost is the Radha Kund, which is on the Govardhan hill, right?
What?
Radha Kund is on the Govardhan hill.
Well, we have not discussed anything about Radhakund. There was just a mention by.
No, I'm just asking, Prabhuji. I'm just asking that Radha Kund and Sham Kund is placed on the Govardhan hill, right? Because they generally decorate with the Radha Kund, Sham Kund. That's also placed on the Govardhan hill.
Yeah, it is considered to be the eyes of Govardhan, and the entire Govardhan hill is actually compared to a peacock. And there are different parts of the peacocks, like for example, the tail, then the head, the eye, the belly of peacock and all. So these are all different, like the face of peacock. So face of peacock is basically the it is called to be as the Mukharbind of Giriraj, and that Mukharbind is actually in Mansi Ganga. So the face of Govardhan is at Mukharbind, according to the Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas, followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And this Mukharbind, the face of Govardhan, can also be different at different places. For example, it can be at Dhan Ghati also, because there are other devotees of Govardhan who worship the Mukharbind at Dhan Ghati. Then the followers of Vallabha Sampradaya, they worship Mukharbind at uh, uh, Jatipura. So like that, now how is that possible? It is possible because the face of the peacock head can be turned in any direction the peacock wants to. So that way it is said that Mukharvinds can be at different places like that. But yeah, Radhakund is the topmost. It is located in Govardhan, and Radhakund is, so Rupa Goswami mentions in the next section that above Vaikuntha is Mathura, above Mathura is Vrindavan, because it's a place where Krishna personally enjoyed his pastimes in Vrindavan. And then above Vrindavan is Govardhan, because Krishna personally lifted Govardhan with his left finger, small finger. And then the topmost is Radhakund, because see, now this hierarchy has been shared based on the context of Rasa, because Madhurya Rasa is the highest amongst all the rasas. So the manifestation of Madhurya Rasa is most prominent in Govardhan, and at the only ras which is there in Radhakund. No other ras is allowed in Radhakund. But otherwise, other places like, for example, Govardhan, Nandgaon, Barsana, Mathura. I mean, Mathura is, it's a completely different lila. It's in the Aishwarya part of Krishna's lila. But Vrindavan, Nandgaon, Barsana, and other areas of Vraj, they are mixed. They are mixed rasas, because there the Krishna's friends, the Gwalas, they also assist Krishna in his pastimes, and it is kind of mixture. Whereas in Radhakund, there is only Madhurya Ras, and even Krishna's friends who are only the Priya Narmasakas, who have got some aspect of Madhurya Ras in them, they are allowed, and they are also not allowed inside Radhakund, but they are allowed at the presence of Radhakund. So based on the concept of Rasa, Madhurya Rasa, Radhakund is the highest. But now, based on Vipralamba Bhav, it is also mentioned that the Imlital, which is in Vrindavan, that is also one of the highest places in Raj, because that's a place where Krishna experienced separation from Radharani, and then he took the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Which one you mentioned, Prabhuji? Imlitala?
Imlital, yeah, in Vrindavan.
Okay.
So this comes in between when you do Parikrama of Vrindavan. Yeah, so it is based on context.
So, Prabhuji, Parikrama of Vrindavan is different from Parikrama of Govardhan.
Yeah, I mean, there are different Parikramas. Parikrama of Govardhan, now Vrindavan has different connotations. It can mean differently, because Vrindavan can cover the entire area of Vraj. The entire Vraj can refer to as Vrindavan, or it can refer to one forest of Vraj, which is Vrindavan, or it can refer to a specific place in Vrindavan, in one of the forests of Vrindavan. Like, for example, Vrindavan, generally Vrindavan includes the forest of Vrindavan. I think it includes Nandgaon, Barsana also, and Govardhan. But you may have visited Vrindavan, which is different from Nandgaon, Barsana, and Govardhan, right? So that place is also there. So sometimes the entire forest is called Vrindavan, sometimes one of the forests is called Vrindavan, sometimes only a specific place is called Vrindavan. That's why there is a confusion. But the Vrindavan that we visit is where we have all these 7 temples of Vrindavan. So a small portion of one of the forests of Vrindavan, that is called Vrindavan, and there Imlital is there. But if you consider the entire forest of Vrindavan, and I think that also includes the Govardhan-Nangaon area, then you may say that okay, yeah, Govardhan is also part of Vrindavan. But when we do parikrama of Vrindavan, it's the specific portion of that forest which we do parikrama. So they do parikrama of Vrindavan, and then separately they do parikrama of Govardhan. And then of course then there is the entire Vraj Mandal parikrama, where you are circumambulating the entire Vraj circumference, like that.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. And yeah, like, and the thing is, like you mentioned in the class, but I had one thought which came in the beginning, which just kind of came back again. So the main reason why Govardhan is worshipped is because it is like, can we take it as an aspect of a lesson to Indra? That, see, I'm protecting my devotees, although you're doing that. Or is it that, is just one Leela going on, where he wanted to come together with everyone? Because it's like the Govardhan Leela is that brings everyone together, like under the hill.
Yeah.
What is the main aspect we can take from your class?
Yeah, so actually these details are described in the last chapter of Govardhan Leela, wherein Indra is praying to Krishna and he is repenting and he asking for forgiveness from Krishna. So there are so many wonderful insights given by our acharyas, and yeah, they say that ultimately this pastime was performed so that Krishna could, and I think even while going through these commentaries in this chapter, I think it was Sanatan Goswami and G. Goswami and Vishwanath Thakur, they also mentioned this point, that ultimately Krishna wanted to perform this Leela. And because it's the best opportunity for all the Vrajvasis to come together and to see Krishna face to face for 7 continuous days without eating, drinking, sleeping, right? So that way, I mean, it is like going to yatras. We all assemble together, all the devotees. We take everyone's association, and Krishna is the center. So Guru is the center in the yatra, and we hear from Guru and we serve devotees. There's an ample opportunity to serve devotees also. So that way, Krishna is also looking forward to perform this pastime, and Bharadwaj is also looking. And I do remember in the upcoming chapters of Govardhan Leela, Vishwanath Thakur makes a point. He says that uh, although the Vrajvasis, they suffer because after this sacrifice of Indra has been stopped, then Indra becomes very angry and then he releases the Samvarta clouds and he tries to inundate the entire Vraj with torrents of rain. It is said that these rainfalls, they were like pillars of column and they were trying to devastate the entire Vraj area. So the Vrajvasis, they were apparently suffering a lot of pain. The cows, the women of Vraj, the cowherd men, they were all apparently they were suffering. But Vishwanath Thakur is saying that this is only apparent, all because ultimately they were having bliss in that suffering, because they knew that we'll get to see Krishna face to face. We'll be seeing Krishna soon. So and then he gives analogy of being a person being very extremely hungry. So when you have a lot of hunger, then you can relish the food more when you start eating, right? But if you have no hunger, then you cannot relish the food. So only when you have the hunger, you can actually relish the food. So similarly, when you experience that kind of intense hankering to get Krishna's association, and when you get the hankering, then you actually when you get the association, then only you will be totally satisfied. So the Vrajvasis, they were suffering externally, but internally they were very blissful, like that. So yeah, ultimately, and in fact, to conclude the Govardhan pastime, our Rasik Acharyas, they say that ultimately it was to get the glance of Shrimati Radharani and the gopis. Krishna wanted to have reciprocate with the gopis' love, and this was the best time to do that. By exchanging, glancing, uh, exchanging his glances with them, as well as to also show them, to show off, like to show off that he's a hero and he can perform many Herculean tasks. So in order to impress the gopis, this is a pastime that he did. He lifted Govardhan with his left hand, tiny little finger. So the gopis will be impressed. And of course, then so I'm not sharing the entire pastime which is described by Kavi Karnapur, Nanandan Champu, as well as Gopal Champu. But Kavi Karnapur, he describes that how Krishna, he's having interaction and he's having conversation with the gopis, and then the friends of Krishna, they are supporting Krishna, that he's the one who's actually lifting the Govardhan hill, and because of his strength and because of his ability, all the Vrajvasis are nourished and they are protected. But the gopis, they refute the argument and they say that, well, it is not Krishna. Do you know who is actually on the left side of Krishna? Who resides on the left side of Krishna? And then one of the sakhas, they try to guess, and they finally, the gopis say that it is basically Radharani who is residing on the left side of Krishna, right? The internal potency. That's why we see the energy is always on the left side of Krishna. So it is Radharani who is actually residing on the left of Krishna. And because Krishna has used the left hand to lift Govardhan, is actually Radharani who is actually lifting the hill. Krishna is only a mere instrument, but actually he's supported by Srimati Radharani's strength. So it is Radharani who is actually lifting the Govardhan hill. So ultimately, the entire pastime concludes in the glorification of Srimati Radharani. And that's how Kartik month, the entire month is actually glorification of Radharani. Whichever pastime you take, it all signifies the glories of Srimati Radharani. So this is how Kavi Karnapur very nicely he concludes. And then there are a lot of details in Gopal Champu also. But anyways, maybe next time we'll share. This is just one chapter that we finished, but maybe next Kartik will continue with the second chapter was the chapter number 25th, and then chapter number 27 also we'll try to see if we can do it. Because anyways, I think if my classes will be in 2 months and the Kartik will, the month of Kartik will coincide with that, then we can have both chapters completed. And then we can also, in the future classes, I can also share about the entire pastime which is described by Kavi Karnapur, Nanandan Champu, as well as described by Srila Jiva Goswami and Gopal Champu.
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you so much for enlivening us with this Govardhan Leela. It's really amazing, and all the effort you took in. I'm sure this is the first time you're giving a class on this. It's have you given a class on this before with other acharyas? Commentary?
No, this is the first time. In fact,
Yeah.
I was thinking, what have I missed in the previous classes? Because I think I have covered the commentaries of acharyas for the Damodar Leela, and in the last class we did the commentary of Sanatana Goswami and Damodar Ashtakam. So now what remains is Govardhan Leela, and of course Radhakund appearance was earlier observed in ISKCON, but now they have removed it from the calendar, so it is shifted to Chaitra Purnima. Maybe we can do it on in the month of April. After this is the Purnima immediately after Gaur Purnima, so maybe we can do sometime that also. But Bahul Ashtami is the one which happened in the month of Kartik, and there are Vrajvasis who celebrate Radhakund appearance on the day of Bahul Ashtami. So yeah, let's see. But yeah, we have enough information to be covered in the upcoming classes. We have 2 more chapters to cover, and then we have the content from Kavi Karnapur as well as Jiva Goswami.
So, Prabhuji, just really quickly, since you mentioned that Bahula Ashtami and Gopashtami is when the gopis are dressed as gopas, right?
Oh yeah, that's also another festival that can also be covered up.
Yeah, and what is Bahula? I'm just forgetting. I knew I heard it. Bahula Ashtami is?
Bahula Ashtami is actually, the Bahula is the name of, I think, cow, and there was a particular pastime which happened. So a lion was going to eat the cow, and somehow Krishna intervened and saved the cow. Something like that happened. I'm not I'm not able to remember the exact pastime. I have read it a couple of times, but I'm not able to recollect it. But this is a pastime connected to Bahula cow. That's why it's got the name Ashtami. It happened on Ashtami day, so it is referred to as Bahula Ashtami.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Okay, all right. So with this, we can conclude the class.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you all for joining. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity on the month of Kartik, on the day of the first day of Bhishma Panchak, Uttara Ekadashi. So
Ekadashi Panchak, and also it is like Govardhan, Damodar month. 3 things are falling today. Very auspicious. Yeah. And thank you, Prabhuji, for enlightening us. So we were able to, go into the Govardhan Leela. And because generally it's like today, although all these things are there, but we are not going to temple or we're not having a festival. But hearing itself is, the main thing. It's like being in a festival only. Yeah, okay. Thank you so much. So
through hearing only we can see the Dham. Through hearing only we can see Krishna's pastimes, because
yes, Prabhuji, and you know why I mentioned
see anything. We can
yes.
will be only able to see the material aspects of the Dham and the Leela. But it's only because of the Acharya's mercy and their insights that we are able to understand about the pastimes of the Lord.
Yeah. Very true, very true. So why I mentioned to you about Radha Kund in the beginning is because like I remember, last year I had gone to during the end of Kartik. So one Prabhuji had taken us because I have my daughter who's the special needs. So I could not go live with other devotees because she would not rise early in the morning. But there was one devotee, one Mataji I know, who also has an autistic daughter. So she had arranged, and I remember we had bowed down to Govardhan and went all around. And then there was Radha Kund we went to. Sham Kund we went to, we saw. And also there was a place where, you have to give your hajri, that, you have come here. It's noted down. There's a deities there. It's a midway somewhere.
Yeah,
So
I think generally they say that Puchli ka lota baba.
Yes. Yeah. And also, Prabhuji, it reminded me, there was one place we went. It was like a big, a small little lane going in with a lot of food being sold on the left and right. And then we came to a spot where actually the Govardhan was lifted.
The Govardhan
Was lifted. That is a place where, there's a mark of Krishna, standing there.
According to our acharyas, it was lifted near Chandra Sarovar, and this is also near Mansi Ganga. But now different sampradayas, they have different angles of vision on this. So,
but they have like physical proof there where they have shown, and there's
there are. See, this is something which is kalpabhed, and kalpabhed means that in one kalpa it may be lifted in one particular place, another kalpa it may be lifted another place, or it may be possible that Krishna can fulfill the desire of his devotees. So, for me, Krishna will show me that he is lifting in one place. For another devotee, Krishna will show he is lifting at another place. So it may be Kalpa Bhed, or it may be, like Krishna is infinite in his Leelas. So he can show like that. So we respect both of the or multiple places where Krishna lifted the place. But our acharyas, they have mentioned about Chandra Sarovar, the place where near Chandra Sarovar, there Krishna lifted.
And even Chandra Sarovar with the name that's just sounding, it must have got some, katha behind it. Chandra Sarovar.
Yeah.
Okay, Prabhu.
All right.
So much,
So,
Prabhuji.
thank you everybody for joining. Krishna Prabhu ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I hope
His grace Prema Rasa Prabhuji ki jai. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.